Hello and welcome to the Biomes of Plenty mod spotlight. We're going to be using the latest version of 1.16.5. There is some stuff in 1.17.1 at the moment. Forge's not really ready for it yet, but I can tell you that we're going to have woodland mansions in the woodland and mystic grove, visceral heat hair, I don't know what that is, glowworms, flesh tendon in the visceral heat. Looks like the withered abyss and the nether's going to have some additions, and there's also a glowstone grotto. And looks like the blood liquid is back in 1.17. Not going to show that yet, just because it's a while away before we get to the point where we can actually properly play in 1.17. So what I will do though is give you a rundown of all the different biomes in this version, which is the latest version for 1.16.5, released about the end of July 2021. All right, I'm not sure. I can't find TP biome. That is supposed to be what you do, but I guess we'll just have to do it manually then. That'll be fun to watch. Oh no, it works now. Alright, okay, I've got it working somehow. Alright, so we're going to go through the list alphabetical order. There's different ways you could go through the list, but we're going to do it this way. So here we have the Alps biome to begin with. And you can see the Alps pretty substantial. Yeah, it stretches very high up, in fact. Look at some of the peaks. I mean, you might expect it to, but the peak we're at here is about the 200 blocks there. Pretty high up. What I've got is a little document which has got all the different stuff. I put it's a bunch of stuff on my second monitor, so I can sort of tell you if there's anything. For instance, I can see for the Alps, we have added snow golem spawns to the Alps. So as long as we're in hard mode, which we are. Now some of this, like I say, it's just, we should see some snow golem spawns. Let's see if we can actually find one. So it may be very rare, but yeah, I think probably it is quite rare if we can't see anything at this point. But I am assured, and this is and I'm only looking at the 1.16 update, so there are snow golem spawns somewhere in the Alps. So I'll sort of add on little bits which maybe you can't see, but which I'm just reading from the changelog, which I have sort of collated into something a bit more readable than is actually provided normally. All right, we're going to have a lot of biomes to get through, so let's crack on a little bit here. So Alps foothills now. Oh, we're literally here. Okay. So it's like a sub-biome. There's sort of a lot of things. Like I noticed, there was something like the orchard replaced the forest as the plain sub-biome and stuff like that. So there's lots of little things which Biomes of Plenty does. Yeah, and I'm sure it also inherits there's llamas being there. It also inherits probably the stuff from the the regular sort of, I guess it's from snowy tundra. I don't know. But yeah, we're going to just see if we see anything unique. Bamboo Blossom Grove now. And, the biomes in Biomes of Plenty, they change a huge amount, over every different version. I've basically got the changelog file I've got is kind of from 1.13 up until... so for instance, this is unusual, right? So you can see we're in the Bamboo Blossom Grove, and you can see we've obviously got panda spawns here. So it's obviously inheriting from the bamboo jungle. Depending on there's also certain things with the bees spawning. Let's make sure we have our controls set up correctly. All right. So you can see we have a lot of cherry logs. Just want to keep on checking. So this is the Blossom Grove here with panda spawns. So it's sort of like a plains area with panda spawns. So that's pretty cool. And you can see also we have, this looks like a periphery thing, like an edge biome. I noticed, for instance, the desert, the vanilla desert is like a periphery biome to the wasteland biome, for example. So there's sort of just reading through various different things in the We look at these leaves. I think they're called blossoms rather than leaves now. Correct. So some of the things that have been called leaves are now called blossoms. Renamed pink, white cherry, and jacaranda leaves to blossoms is something I have on my list. And also, there was one thing actually that we did miss in the Alps biome. We're just going to go back there for a minute, and that is let's just go back to the Alps quickly. So, like I said, it's not going to. I'm going to try and do it as orderly as you can. This is not an easy video to make, which is why you don't see many people do it. So, if we look at the Alps again, there is something interesting here, and that is to do with the middle block. Let's see if I can find it on my list again. So it says added a deeper middle block layer for the Alps biome. So I'm not sure there is a deeper middle block layer. That doesn't seem to make much sense. The fact that you can't see anything implies that probably that the whole lot is stone inside. So I think that's probably what it was saying. So there's actually less in the way of actual space inside the Alps there. All right, let's go back to F5 and back into vanilla. All right, so where were we? We're at Bamboo Blossom Grove. The next up we have the Bayou. So I believe, well, not gonna. I think I know what it is, but sometimes I get it wrong. So yeah, okay. So Bayou, you can see, is a variant in a swamp. Don't recall this has changed much. The bayou itself has not changed. There are a couple of other swamp biomes. We'll look at the bog mire. I just want to always confirm that we're in the correct biome. So the bayou here, you can see we've got some Spanish moss. If we actually look at you can see we've got only about 4 pages, so there's not too much stuff in terms of additions here. Swamp color, let's go times a day, and we'll do game rule. We'll leave the other one on. So yeah. Now there were some changes with regards to where the witch huts can be found. We could try looking for a witch hut. Doesn't seem like there's any in this biome though. So don't necessarily. It seems like a lot of the time it gets removed. And again, we see in the periphery like different things going on. So this is actually the bio mangrove. Mangrove itself is actually a biome which was added recently as well. So let's see. I think I had a note on the mangrove. Adjusted mangrove and bayou weights is one of the things, and it's sort of mentioned after a lush swamp. Lush swamp should be in subtropical climate, not wet temperate. So there's various things like in terms of the classification. I tried to do some classification stuff before as well. So definitely worth pointing out that the edge biome here is you can actually see some interesting stuff in terms of the intersection with the ocean here as well. So that's another interesting fact, and we will press on with the next one. So you can see bio, and obviously we're in the bio mangrove. Don't need to check out that. Burnt forest. This is quite a new one as well, or at least it got its name changed. What do we have on burnt forest? It's difficult to look through. Like about I've got like 1,000 words on my other screen. I put it all small and like it's covering the whole screen. It's like a huge wall of text. I'm pretty good at that sort of thing, but it can be difficult. Split the marsh. Tweaks to the burnt forest subbiome. So, yeah, it is a subbiome of forest, so we'd probably expect to see it alongside. It looks like it's just the area which is in. So it's adjacent to dead forest on all sides, right? So maybe it's a sub-biome of dead forest. I guess that's the way to look at it. I think also sometimes I think there are some biomes that do have some kind of status effects. Nope. Maybe it may have been a different mod that I was thinking of with that. So you can see it's only the branches. We're going to have some dead bushes here, of course, and dead leaves. It looks like these are oak though, right? So yeah. This is also another patch of dead forest, of burnt forest as well. It's definitely worth looking at the adjacencies. This is birch forest, is it? No, it doesn't look like birch. This is seasonal orchard, which is a derivation, like I say, the orchard is a derivation of plains. So this is like the transition from plains into, because normally the forest would have been the derivation of plains. The sub-biome, I guess, is the way to look at it. But it looks like orchard is a way to sort of connect the two. So that's an interesting way to look at it. But yeah, you can see obviously a much darker environment here. If we just take a look at, laying it, just to give you. Well, the grass colour is certainly different. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that's burnt forest. Like I say, we do need to press on because this is a cherry blossom grove. I'm not sure if that is actually. I mean, you would expect it to be adjacent to the bamboo blossom grove, but I'm not actually sure that is the case. It is the case. So cherry blossom grove has got cow spawns. So I guess if you want cows and pandas, you're going to want to probably. I mean, it's an interesting combination. Would you really want cows and pandas? Maybe. You can see there's the pandas there. We also have a turtle there. That's interesting to see both. To see like almost the kind of vertices of a triangle: a cow, a panda, and a turtle. We're in a beach biome here though. A river biome. Yeah, beach. All right. That's pretty interesting as well. Okay, so let's move on. So we've done Cherry Blossom Grove. Was that the beginning of the seas? Cold Desert. Now we did have a. This is actually the very latest part of the changelog, the Cold Desert. So this is in the very latest version for 1.16.5, and we have Cold Desert. Now I believe. Oh, well, it looks like we're back next to the Alps again. So the interesting thing about Cold Desert, if we take a look. So you can see here we are in the. Yeah, you can see anyway. What I'm trying to say is obviously it's not snowing here. So here in the Alps foothills, here in the cold desert. I guess you might not necessarily expect to be snowing in the cold desert. I'm starting to think actually that it is noon, isn't it? We need to just clear the. Was it another? I don't know why I thought that. It must have been something I read about. Looking through the list, changed cold desert to not have snow, adding missing override annotations. Yeah, so there was. It used to originally. You could probably find a version where the cold desert here does have snow, but it looks like it's just a very. It's a good source of gravel. I'll give it that. I will give it that. So let's actually make sure we have nothing in our hand. I could F1 it. I normally sometimes do that. I'm not too concerned about it at this point. Now we have the coniferous forest. Let's take a look at that one. Not much on this. Some of this stuff, from what I can tell, is pretty straightforward. Were there any changes here? A lot of this stuff, I did see maybe some changes to the redwood trees. Are the poison puffs gone? Yeah, okay. There's always different stuff that gets changed here. There was one other thing as well that I was kind of curious about, which is I'm not sure if it says that there's villager textures for everything. So I mean, this would be one where you. I think maybe they just inherit their. Is that something I've seen before? The problem is that obviously there's a couple of biomes where the villager textures aren't included in the vanilla game. So here we are. I mean, does Cold Desert have unique ones? That is definitely desert, though, right? So I think it just inherits the villager. I mean, it's still worth knowing, but don't think there's actually any unique villagers in Biomes Aplenty. We might check that out over a period of time. We will see. I might try it a few more times in the video, right? Just to confirm that, like, whether that's true or false. Yeah. And okay, so I'm trying to look in terms of foliage and stuff. There is like a bunch of different stuff that is worth pointing out. Like, for instance, if we wanted to get a stripped oak log, let's see if we can get to the recipe side of things. Is there a way to do that? It says add recipes to that. I'll show you another one that we've got, another little unique feature. I only have Biomes Aplenty installed at the moment, so I have no other mods. So anything you see... Let's see if we can get something here. It says there's some additional paintings. There's one. So that's a Biomes Aplenty painting. That looks like another. That's another. I'm just randomly hoping for... I think there are a few in the little ones there. So yeah, there's definitely a few. I'm not going to be exhaustive in that. I haven't really got time in the video to do that. But yeah, like I say, there's a bunch of stuff in my changelog that I will get to just randomly. We're at the Coniferous Lakes, are we? So it looks like Coniferous Lakes is... What are you doing here, buddy? So Cold Desert actually spawns polar bears. Interesting. So a lot of creatures that you might not expect to see. See, it's unusual to find polar bears so near to a forest, right? But obviously, it tells you something about the coldness of the. I mean, I guess it's obvious. What are you doing? Oh, that's right. Yeah, villagers have got a 100% chance to transform into zombie villagers on hard mode. So if you thought you must be playing hard mode because you saw that behavior, well done. Okay. Crystalline Chasm. There is some stuff in the Nether. We will look at it. Like I said, the Nether looks like it's been a bit more upgraded in... So Dead Forest, we saw it was adjacent to the Burnt Forest there. Deep Bayou. I'm not sure exactly we've been here. I imagine we'll see some sort of stuff. Looks fairly similar. Again, we see the adjacency. What we got in height? We have the mud blocks as well underwater. I think that's probably for all Bayou. We just didn't check it out before. We can take a look. See, cod. It is worth pointing out that I imagine some of the stuff is not really documented that well. But yeah, mainly mud, clay patches. Same Spanish moss. I think we're probably already in a, yeah. So bio into deep bio into mangrove areas. And again, if we just take a look at the proximity to ocean, we'll just fly a little bit further here. Let's just see the proximity to the next biome. Not much, is there? It almost is like... I think it's surrounded by ocean on all sides. I mean, I guess that's not like that unlikely. But yeah, it looks to me that it's surrounded by ocean also. I could increase the render distance, but it's definitely something worth pointing out. That does happen. But yeah, if I increase the render distance, it could potentially make the quality of the whole video worse. So I don't really want to do that. Dense marsh. Let's take a look at that. Any notes on the dense marsh? Not hugely, actually. So we do have a bunch of oak leaves just on the ground. Tall grass, a lot of tall grass. What do we have here? We have reeds. Any particular use for reeds? Don't think so. So are we in a sub-biome at all? Nope. Doesn't look like it. Looks like we're adjacent to mountains though. In the dense marsh. Very flat area. Yeah, this is just pretty irregular. Maybe not. Right, this is a highland moor. No, we're not that far away from that. Should we speak about the highland moor now? I did have a note about highland moor. This is another fairly new biome, which you wouldn't have seen in like 1.12 and before. Highland moor reminds me of Highlands. Maybe it was in Highlands biome. If any of you remember that back in, who knows what version at this point. But if you've been playing the game a long time, you'll know what I'm talking about. Highland moor. I did remove some of the stuff that didn't seem particularly interesting. Here we go. Renamed moor to Highland moor. Yeah, and that was done at the same time as added fir, snowy fir clearing, apparently. Seen the same sort of note there. It's done at the same sort of time. Whether that makes any real difference, I don't know. But yeah, it looks like anyway that the marsh is bordered by the Highland moor. If we also take a look at, also have a roofed forest type biome, dark forest now, which is called roofed forest or dark. This looks like a microbiome. No, it's called dark forest in this version. Yeah, dark forest. I think it was changed from roofed forest to dark forest in 1.16. So this is a dark forest hills. So yeah, obviously more mycologically inclined biome. So there's dense marsh. What do we got next? Dense woodland. Again, I guess the word dense is not a great word to look up because we're seeing biomes that we're going to actually explore later. Dense woodland. This is also, well, this is a regular woodland. I think we do have something regarding this as well. Let's see if I can. I tried to not delete like. You know what I'm going to do? I really only left the weather on for that one thing about the cold desert. If we look at the golden, did I leave this in? I had to, because there's so much to actually leave in, I may have removed this one. Change blue hydras, change, we'll do the little flower bit here actually. Change blue hydrangeas and goldenrods into tall flowers. Is that correct? Oh yeah. So if we take a look at the hydrangeas as well, we'll do this little section here. You can see that hydrangeas are now also 2 high. It used to be 1 high flowers. And we also have, if you remember, there used to be barley. Oh, there is still barley. So the barley is 2 high. Is there tall wheat? Or am I, some of this stuff may not be documented, or I may have just missed it and deleted it by mistake. I don't know. I think I've basically covered those things here. One thing I will mention is that there wasn't a biome called bog. There is a list of bog biome, and we may have already seen that. Maybe. There's like bog Maya. It's based on a cranberry bog, apparently. So I think like we've seen a few sort of like maybe even that last biome may have been what it was talking about. Removed witch huts from the bog. When did you change the bog to something else? Is actually what I've got. Nope, not really. Okay. But yeah, basically there's a lot more 2 high blocks now. And so that is something to keep in mind. Dense woodland. Then we have dry boneyard. All right. So which one is it? I think it might be. Actually, it's probably not this one, is it? That is a lush desert. Probably the one with the bones in it, bro. So yeah, the dry boneyard. Good overworld source of bone blocks here. This is lavender fields. Let's see. By the way, fungi forest is also gone. The one that was, oh no, dry boneyard. So if you do want a good source of lavender, you will find it in the dry boneyard apparently, which is unusual. No. No. Okay. I think it's something to do with the biome blend. Like if you increase the biome blend, I think you can actually what biome blend basically means is say you increase the biome blend to like 40 or 50 blocks. I think it means that basically it takes from like you can take the union of 2 biomes, right? If you look at it from like a Venn diagram perspective, in terms of the like the fauna and the flora there. So yeah, so that's pretty cool as well. Not too much. Looks like just sort of patches. These little mini tree things. So that is the dry boneyard. Some of these, like, also I think there was some removal of the biomes. Like some of these biomes are like very much like of their time, in terms of you might see them. For instance, this dry land, it was originally called. So if you played in a slightly earlier version, you may know this biome that we're about to see, which we're already here, as the brushland. Right. Also, it also reminds me a little bit of the Xeric. Is that still here? No. There's one that began with X, which is now gone, I think. Xeric shrubland. So that may have been. It may be that Xeric shrubland became brushland. Now we're in dryland. So some of it is just, I think, a lot of it is probably reusing the same textures, but just changing the name of the biome. Because, for instance, fungal jungle only came back. Is there really no fungal biome? This was actually one of. Oh no, sorry, I'm not even on F, dude. What are you doing, buddy? Okay, so there's dryland. Fir clearing, we alluded to that before. It was added the fir and the snowy fir clearing, and the temperate rainforest I wonder if that is actually near a moor by any chance. Probably not. It's hard to tell if they just do work on it. Like, you would think they would do work on like one biome. Like, what have we got here? So here's the fur clearing. This looks very much like an intersectional biome. You can tell, like, when you look around, as soon as you spawn in, you can tell that, like, I'm not going to be on a fur clearing much, right? As soon as I go here, I'm at wetland. So you can see the fur clearing is intersection between wetland, very much again with the triangle points, the wetland, the coniferous forest. Should really be able to recognize them and see the coniferous lakes as well again as a sub-biome. And yeah, and also got this multicolored biome, which I can't remember the name of. We'll get to it. Be a little teaser if you're watching it. Yeah. So very much the fur clearing. I guess furs don't they have pine cones and stuff? So they are a coniferous thing. And typically, like, multicolored trees are something you see like in Canada. So you don't tend to see that that sort of multicolor, like that coloration in the trees is something you don't actually see in Europe very much. Flower meadow. All right. So it looks like we're adjacent to not. Wow, look at these little mushrooms. I've never seen this before actually. Is this in the flower meadow? No. So it is adjacent to the shroomy wetland. Actually looks like this is again a intersectional biome. One thing I really used to love in the flower forest is that they used to actually, if you actually looked at the way that they used to spawn in much older versions of the game, there's a really cool couple of videos about flower forests where basically someone made a command to spawn a flower at every single spot. So if it spawned grass, it would break, and it basically, you get all these rings, like, because only certain flowers, like, there used to be a thing, it's probably not like this here, but only like this sort of flower would grow on this spot. I wonder if it actually still works. I don't think it does, if I'm being completely honest. But like, say we have, like, this is a red tulip, right? Let's see if I can do it. Well, you're not making it easy for me, buddy, are you? At this point, we're committed, though, right? Okay, it didn't work. So yeah, but it used to be that was the case, right? But yeah, certainly an intersectional. We can see we've got some more coniferous forests. So we have a coniferous, we have a wetland area, and we also have. Is this a moor again? No. It's actually a small mountain. Kind of surprised. The flatness of that mountain. But anyway. So on the F's, flower meadow, fungal field. Let's see what we have. Again, make sure we have a nice. Okay. So this is where. This is the biome I remember. So it is still in here, the fungal stuff. So yeah, so this is the one I actually remember, but there is an additional one now, right? The fungal jungle. So obviously there's a unique bluish tinge to it. And we also have these new mushrooms as well, not new at this point, but the glacium blocks. This, from what I can tell, is going to be part of some of the nether biomes in the 117 as well. Yeah. We're already in the fungal jungle here. So it looks like it's just a case of there's not a huge amount of difference in terms, it's just the denseness of the, I wonder if there are actually like vines or anything here. It looks like there's mushrooms, but they're only in the, yeah, that's correct. So there's no mushrooms in the actual field, but there are mushrooms I'm talking about vanilla. Well, actually, we do have these mods. I guess you would have them, wouldn't you? No, this is still a jungle. That's why. I may be correct on that. It's hard to tell. There certainly does seem to be like. Is this area happen to be? See, this is the field, right? Yeah, I think I'm correct in that. It looks. Do we have an extra? Yeah, I think basically you don't get them in the fields. But the way it's. Is it really? This is really weird how it's done. It's very hard to tell the difference between the jungle and the field. At first I thought it was to do with the grass color, but it doesn't actually seem like that is the case. But you can see we've got adjacency to a bamboo jungle here. All right. Next up on the list. They also. What's the deal with the toadstool? I just want to check something here. I really need to stop pressing the wrong mouse button, but anyway. So there is now the giant toadstools. I'm just wondering if there's a difference between growing these things. Obviously, you get chicken spawns from the looks of it. It doesn't look like any real height difference there. I'm not sure where we're going to find the giant toadstools. The toadstools are Biomes of Plenty, obviously. Where were we at? We're at. We've done F's onto the G's. The Golden Prairie now. So this, I'm trying to remember. I used to play. This used to be. Was this the barley biome? Was it? Correct. So yeah, this was. It's been around for a while. This one as well. And we have some goldenrods over here, but they are probably in an adjacent biome of the. Right. So yeah, the golden prairie means the barley prairie, adjacently to the regular prairie, which again is a pretty flat biome. But instead of the barley, we have a bunch of goldenrods instead. Regular sort of spawning. Yep, just cows and sheep. Nothing too exciting there. And again, we have a little bit of adjacency to what type of ocean this is. There's a Grove Lake. Interesting. Again, an interesting adjacency thing there. Yeah. There certainly is a what is actually going on here? I think this might just be a yeah, a ruined portal, but kind of interesting though. Where's the base block then? Is it just gravel? Diorite. Completely diorite base block on the Grove Lake. We're not actually at that point, but we're actually not that far away from being there. So we'll leave the Grove Lake. While we'll do, you know what? We may as well, seeing as I'm on the G's at the moment anyway. Let's just check the Grove. Because I mean, just fortuitously, we happen to be right here. So we've got some oxides. It's all Grove, isn't it? Yeah, so Grove is pretty. Is that a combination? It looks like a well. It looks very much actually like a. So obviously I know these are oak and spruce, but I always like to just check and confirm everything. And just in case for some reason I don't know why I did it. Some lilacs here. Well, that was a fail. Might have to edit that one out. Podzo. And yeah. What was the other grove? As you might imagine, it's almost certain we're going to see the clearing. Again, clearing is a turn that we've seen already. Just look, it looks like the sort of like the way it's all connected is basically attempting to be like seamless. And it kind of is seamless, so it's very hard to actually tell the. Interesting, the flowering oak leaves. But anyway, I wonder if that is actually. No, I thought maybe that was only in the clearing. That's some sort of special rule there. But we did miss a couple of things out. Yeah, we haven't done grassland yet. So let's move over to there. How did I get peony and lilac wrong? Such a fail, man. That is a horrific fail. So the four-leaf clover here has a huge clover petal. Very unusual. Some of these types of ones are the ones which tend to not make it much further than a couple of versions. There's a thing. It always reminds me of Twilight Forest when you see a big clover because of that. Well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean if you play this game. So the grassland clover patch is pretty substantial. In fact, there's barely anything in the actual grassland, is there? This all seems to be grassland. No, we're in a flower forest. Grassland seems very, very much a. The clover patch seems to be the main thing. This almost seems like a beach biome, doesn't it? In terms of there's not much. There's the gravel beach, which is again very fortunate. We've already really cool though. It's actually a very this is very unusual. This may actually be origin, no? Yeah, there's some very interesting blending, isn't there, the biomes in this section with the flower forest. It looks like it looks. I wonder if it's always like this. That when you just find a grassland like this, I mean, yeah, really cool. Anyway, the thing is, the biome like this you don't really find very often. This would be very unique, I think. So definitely, you know, obviously exclusively Azure Blues. Better not get that one wrong. No, we know our Blues. Honestly, I always struggle with the lilac and the peony thing. Because they are the same color, right? I will get it. I will learn that. Honestly, if they start adding like 20 more flowers, then I'd be on point with that. We looked at all the G's, so onto the H's. We also did see the Highland more. We could take a look, a little more detail at the Highland areas. Honestly, not hugely exciting. They don't have that much difference to mountains. They're quite just, you know, large blobs of stuff, bit of gravel, some patchwork, moss stone. The crag you would expect to be generally the crag. I don't know if it'll go up to 200, but you'd expect it to be quite a substantial. What did I just do there? I'm literally at the Highland Crag. Ready? I thought crag meant high point. Guess not. We still, yeah, this should still be Highland. Yeah. I think crag is just, it's just like a set of cliffs, isn't it, or something? Yeah, basically these mounds are crags and the rest is just highland. So it's like so it's basically a set of hills in what is essentially a fairly fairly shallow slopes. I mean, this is an interesting area. This sort of gives you an indication of sort of like almost like the paintbrush that's being used. All right, so there is that. Oh, we're only halfway through. No, we're not even. We're on the 9th letter of the alphabet. No eyes. Jade cliffs. I don't know. We're not going too badly. We're not doing too badly. This is a big one. Does that look like some? What is that there? That looks like actual the toadstool that we saw. What biome is the toadstool in? Did we not see the biome? Unless this is literally the one I planted a minute ago. I can't remember that though. It does look pretty out of place. Maybe it was me. Did I plant that? Well, I'm not looking at it now. But yeah, jade cliffs are really high. There's also something interesting about the sky color as well. That is not a. Is that a thing? Yeah, you see. It's biome specific. I remember seeing this happen before. You don't always see this every playthrough. I don't think you're really supposed to see it. But these are, I think these may be the tallest cliffs in the whole game. I mean, how high is this? There's nothing much close to this. I know we're in at 173. I don't know why I thought it was higher. But yeah, these are pretty. I think it's cool to have cliffs that actually got. It's just annoying. You can see we're next to a roofed forest. We have a bayou over there. So yeah, big substantial cliffs. But obviously, unlike your mountains or extreme hills, we have a bunch of spruce sort of thickets and trees. All right. Moving on to the letter K, nothing. L, we have Lavender Field. We've already seen that. We do have the Lavender Forest, though, which I imagine will be a field, but surprise, surprise, it has trees as well. Here we have the jacaranda. And they are actually added jacaranda trees to the. So I haven't even looked at some of this my file for a while. I honestly have actually covered quite a lot though. I covered most of it early on, for being honest. It looks. It says. Oh yeah, it says replace the jacaranda leaves in the Highland Moor with violets. So I may have missed that one. Should we just quickly check on the villagers? So you can see these ones have got no. Nothing there. So yeah, pretty cool anyway. So you do get regular oak spawns as well, and wild jacaranda blossoms. So that's cool. So we've done L's as well. Oh no, the lush desert. So there was actually added lush desert biome. This is also a very, very new biome. We did see it before. It had that very pleasant orange texture. That is very. You don't really see it much, to be honest. You just don't see it. We can see. What are these little things? Wildflowers. So that is an interesting one. Very, for some reason it reminds me of when I did the Infernal Expansion video a few months ago. A lot of blocks here. Orange sand, orange sandstone. I did have something about the sandstone. There is like this block, the white sandstone as well. Yeah, it was saying about there's a recipe for it, and you can probably tell what it is. I'm not gonna waste my time looking at that. Did I have anything? Added black sandstone as well. Fixed placing seagrass. What? Wow, I'm not northern. Fixed placing seagrass on white or black sand. Is that possible? We're kind of in the wrong biome for this, but can we place it on orange sand? Let's see. Now it makes sense. Oh, that is orange sand, I think. Let me just check. Yeah, this is orange sand. Yeah, I can't place it because of the... Let me just check it. It's not deep enough, obviously. Yeah, it works on all different colours. So basically, anything you can place on... Yeah, it's just another type of sand, basically. And you can extend the other sand objects. So, or whatever. Let's not pretend I know what I'm talking about there. Have some acacia here, some June grass. Interesting, I haven't seen that. So definitely it's a combination of wildflowers, some acacia, and definitely a more expansive looking biome, really. There may be some stuff underground as well that I'm missing, but I don't know. We've come this far without looking at that stuff, so I don't think we're going to change now. Certainly lush desert is pretty mountainous. It's really not much like a desert at all, really. So lush desert, and then we have lush savanna as well. Lush savanna. Lush savanna looks very much like a lush desert. Is this a lush savanna over here? Yep. Lush savanna does not look... Where is the lush savanna? Not much lush savanna here. I guess this is the only thing. We have the rose bush. This looks like, unfortunately, we're on the edge of a boneyard and a lush desert. So we're not seeing much of the lush savanna. Pretty straightforward, though. Ridiculous amounts of poppies here. So you can imagine what a larger lush savanna would look like. Probably fairly similar to the lush desert. Mountainous. Obviously acacia, but some of the flowers would be different. Okay, so that is the end of the L's, I believe. Yup. M. Marsh. Well, we kind of saw marsh, I guess. Yeah, I think we saw marsh. Oh, there's a swamp hut. Let's see what biome that is in. That'd be interesting. So we know we... What did it say? It says, removed witch huts from the bog, ghost forest, and Mars. Interesting. Okay, we've got some recipes I've missed. Rabbit stew. Let me just do this. We have the toadstool recipe. You can use orange sand, white sand. Okay. What else do we have? No, we're really actually really covered a lot of stuff. So yeah, I think we're gonna. This looks like a much earlier biome that we had already, doesn't it? Do we? I think we may have already covered something like this. Yeah, dense marsh. We've already been here. All right, we're going to speed it up a little bit now because I feel like we're at the point where we're starting to really. All right, so the meadow, pretty straightforward. We're going to sort of speed these things up a little bit now, I think, just because I noticed the video is actually quite long at this point. Meadow forest, again, nothing really particularly unique here. No ends. Ominous mire. Okay. Looks a bit like a dead forest. Got the new block here. Are we still in the ominous mire here? Let's see. So the ominous mire does have a bunch of brambles. The grass, interesting colour as well. It looks like it's mainly, and we have a marsh here, right? So yeah, much darker colour to the ominous mire. And then we have the ominous woods now, which I assume is just up here. Yeah, doesn't look too different from carnivorous forest, really, does it? Again, we've got bramble and dead logs. And the Umbran logs as well here. So this is a different type, but the trees themselves are very much similar to tall spruce trees. And we have the orchard. So the orchard, as I was mentioning before, is a derivation or subbiome of plains. So orchard has got a lot of flowering oak leaves. Every tree, in fact, is flowering oak in the orchard. We also have a mix of dandelions and poppies. So yeah, orchards is pretty a pretty cool biome. Some cornflowers here as well. So yeah, you can see how it fits into the plains landscape. Origin Valley. This one might be harder to find. Let's see if we can get it. No Origin Valley, unfortunately, nearby. We'll return to that one. It can be difficult to find that. There's not many of those around. Prairie, I think we saw the golden prairie adjacent to the prairie. Let's just confirm that quickly. Yep. So that was the I think that was the difference between barley and the golden rods, right? Like the golden prairie had the. Let me just check that again. I guess you will already know. But yeah, you can see that the prairie itself. Yeah, we can see. I may do a single biome on the Origin Valley at the end of this video, actually. Might not be a bad idea. But here you can see the golden prairie is with the barley instead of the golden rods. That was the end of P, nothing on Q. Rainbow Hills, C. Some of these biomes are ones which, again, that one's not there. Rainforest now. So it's looking like a pretty warm waters here. We also have what are these mahogany. I think this texture may have been changed. I'm not looking at the actual document anymore that I had open before. Also notable, we have the cosmos flowers, the orange ones. And chicken spawns are actually the chickens are most commonly found in jungles. So it might be something to that. What's going on here? This is the rainforest floodplain. So it actually reminds me a bit of the Bayou generation. What's that? Rainforest cliffs. Guess we'll just TP. Why not? Probably not from that Y level there. Yep. Nothing notably different here. It's interesting. Interesting that the top block here is clay. Terracotta, you know. This happens to be a different block, but no. So that is interesting to have that structure there in the rainforest. What else we got here? Then we have the redwood forest. So you might imagine these go through pretty substantial changes. Redwood logs here, much higher in the sort of topiary section here. Very steep. This reminds me of the very beginnings of mesa generation. But you can see we have the top block of podzol. A bunch of ferns in here. Bunch of different stuff, really. We take a look at the edge block. Just to give us sort of bearings on this. You can see we're adjacent to plains here. I wonder what you call this biome. Plains. Yeah, I thought it was just a regular plains. There wasn't anything to make me think it was anything else. Fairly standard looking stuff there. So is that the end of the R's? It is. So S. There are a lot of because of some of the mods by the same developers, like you have Serene Seasons, you have Tough as Nails, you have a bunch of different stuff which is kind of relevant. So the Scrubland, what would you say is unique about Scrubland? Yep, wildflowers again. Substantial horse spawns. I haven't seen any horse spawns actually up to this point. I think it's interesting in that it's actually quite a shallow, almost plains-like area. But probably actually slightly more, because of the slight inclinations, it actually gives like a, I'm not sure if inclination is the right. It's kind of funny that inclination means what it does. I mean, I'm saying inclination because I'm getting it from the word incline. I can't quite remember. I have a feeling that is correct in like a lesser usage that word, but Can't quite remember. So yeah, there's scrubland. And we have the seasonal forest. I think probably something like this works very well with if you do single biome on this in serene seasons. So this obviously has some wolf spawning. I think forest is probably the most well known for that. We've got some interesting structures here. Let's see what biome this is. Seasonal pumpkin patch. This is actually I like the word patch. Just go here. Can't really see, but obviously I'm thinking of the clover patch, the grassland clover patch. So yeah, definitely cool how like certain biomes they have their like sort of their analog. You know, like orchard is a recurring word. So they're the seasonal forest, seasonal orchard. Is this the orchard? Yeah. Toadstool is I think the toadstool is unique to the orchard, right? I guess it's trying to, you know, like obviously the sort of kind of the symbiotic relationship with the mycorrhiza, which is the way that the you know, the mushrooms and the plants create like that sort of loop. Maybe something that's going for with regards to that, perhaps. And so that's seasonal. Surely the wetland. I think we've encountered this a few times before already. This looks like a more snowy area. It's a snowy maple forest, which I guess we're going to be getting onto fairly soon. The fir leaves, I imagine the fir clearing is maybe an adjacency to that. Little mini mushrooms as well. Something which again wasn't in earlier versions. There's certainly like a lily pads around as well. Podzol. This is an interesting biome. It looks quite small though, the Shroomy wetland. Adjacent here to a meadow and the maple forest. Alright, let's actually just remove something. So this is the Shroomy wetland. Let's go to shrubland. Like I said, because the video is running pretty long now, we are just going a little bit more quickly. And also I feel like I did probably say most of the stuff already. I think I did. I can't really remember if I'm being honest. I tried to cover as much as I could in the logs that I had. Yeah, not that many shrubs really. Why does it still say shrubland? I guess is this supposed to be a giant shrub? Peonies. Now we've got lilacs. You just can't win. Should we just do a comparison of lilac? Lilac. Peony. 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 So, okay, that's what we're going to say. That's like we're going to... I could, if I was better at colour theory, I'd know the exact difference between those two colours. Alright. But yeah, shrubland is certainly the only thing I can really say. We've obviously got some alliums here as well, but certainly it's delineated by the kind of foliage without the tree approach there. So there's shrubland. We could look at the hills, which I imagine is a border to something else. That's interesting. I think there's a huge swathe of stone. Interesting overhangs. I got a dolphin there. We saw. Oh, we've seen some of these things, right? Yeah, I mean it's just a regular. As you can see, we've got some frozen biomes next to it, as you might imagine. Not huge interesting that. Go to the clearing, which again is pretty nearby. Got a boat there. And we may as well, while we're here. We don't need to go to another maple forest. We have seen that one already. How many have we got left? Tall dead forest now. Funnily enough, I think like a lot of the nether biomes are not here yet. Yeah. Tall dead forest, not, similar to what we saw before. Would you find burnt forests within the tall dead forests? You might. Can't really see them though. It's certainly a good question to ask though, right? We have Tropic Beach now. Tropic Beach is not available. So some of them may just not be available. It's hard to say that. Tropics again, nothing. Didn't actually search for too long on that one. Tundra Basin. I think there's also something to do with this, the squid spawning. There's not a lot of squid spawned around here. Bit of mud here. Actually, that's not mud. Look at the colour of grass. Very dark in the tundra. The basin, probably, I guess, characterised by a bit more, just basically by the stone. Are we still in basin over here? Let's see. Yeah, still looks like basin to me. And the other one is the bog, which is a little bit further. Just characterised by a bit more foliage. All right. So where are we at? The undergrowth. That I think might be nether. We're going to go to the nether in a minute. Visceral heap, I'm pretty sure, is nether. These are things again which are getting more updated in the later versions. Volcanic plains, nether as well. Kind of interesting how a lot of the nether biomes are later letters in the alphabet. Volcano, I think that one might actually not be nether. Wasteland certainly is not nether. So yeah, you'd expect to see desert adjacent to this. Wasteland's just very flat. I wonder if this is a... why would this count as then? You'd expect to see maybe savanna adjacent. Dryland next to it. Interesting. Certainly goes, right? Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Maybe I just saw something here. Is it raining? Hmm. I think this is the. I think this is a. Is this like some sort of tumbleweed thing? It may be. There's some sort of tumbleweed effect. That'd be the only thing I think it could be. Yeah, you can see the adjacency to the desert. I mentioned that before. I'm not surprised it's actually occurred. Wilted lilies are here as well. Wetland, just a regular one. Yeah, I really like the grass colour in wetland. It's a very pleasant green colour. We can see we've got some more. Bunch of toadstools, vines as well. Yeah, a bit of podzol. Some orchids. So yeah, orchids actually. I think this is the first time we've seen orchids. So yeah, wetland is a really cool biome. There's a lot you can do with it. It's almost like an upgraded swamp. Now, whether there's the same sort of slime spawn, I mean, it could be inferred there probably would be. Like I say, because of the scope of the video, we're not going to get into the minutiae like that. And the wetland forest, again, denser on the trees, as you might imagine. Pretty good coverage in terms of like a variety of different, kind of more unique things that you can get. Also got our fox spawns as well here in the wetland. So quite a bit of stuff to play around with in this biome. Wooded scrubland. So I think we sort of come across most of these biomes at this point. Slight variations. Yeah, not seeing anything particularly unique. You wouldn't really expect to. So what we're going to do now then, we'll just check out the woodland, which is we're going to pop into the nether and see what we can find, and then we'll loop back at the end and do some single biomes for some of the other ones. So the other ones we couldn't find were what? Couldn't find Origin Valley, couldn't find Tropics. Let's go to Nether. Right, let's check out the, because there's not that many in the Nether, we'll just go to whatever we can find. Withered Abyss to begin with. Also, we're going to go effect night vision here. Let's go into Spectator just to see what we're dealing with. So Withered Abyss, you can see a bunch of Enderman spawns here. We might get creative. And some Blackstone. Also got Wither Skelly spawns as well. So a combination of Wither Skeletons and Enderman in this biome. We also have some Crying Obsidian in the roof here. I'm not sure we can actually get above this area. Doesn't really seem to be the case. Not really, there's nothing here. We could also try to go, I think Undergarden as well is another one. Undergrowth. Let's try that one. So interestingly, we have bramble. These are called willow vines. Hellbark trees here. I've turned the music off because there are like you don't really, and this is something which if you've got this far, you're well done. But you should always turn music off. They do add stuff. Are we on hard mode still? Yeah. Alright, so like I said, there are a few more biomes in 117. They're definitely working on this more. A lot of blackstone, a lot of crying obsidian. So that's definitely something interesting. There's much easier ways to get crying obsidian. Crystalline chasm, I have a feeling that's probably nether as well. Let's see where we're at. Okay. Alright, so here in the crystalline chasm, nether crystal blocks, nether crystals. Some magma, got some bramble, some willow vines, a few different things. Seems to be bordering just a regular. I wonder if there's a difference between placing hellbark in different biomes. So there's a crystalline chasm. I'm not sure, by the way, if the striders are actually supposed to be here or not. It could be. Take a look. It does seem like there's quite an abundance of striders now I think about it. Is it volcano here? There's none of the volcano stuff here. I think I may have missed the muskeg as well. Did I miss the M's? I think I missed the M's in the overworld for some reason. Yeah, it does kind of look like it. Just going to do a couple of TPs because I can't tell what I've missed here. And the thing about the, like I say, the so what biome are we in here? Okay, somehow I did miss the M's, so we're going to go back to the M's here. I think I'm not sure I missed all of them, but I feel like I've missed musky. I don't know how I managed to do that, but I did. Did this count as muskeg? This is the muskeg. I feel like there was a note about muskeg. Maybe I didn't miss it. Mystic Grove. Yeah. Do like Mystic Grove. Very unusual watercolor, right? Alright, let's we also need to go to the end as well. Was that the only other one? Yeah, we're already here. Again, it's got a particle effect here. I certainly didn't look at the pink daffodil though, right? Lily of the Valley here as well. Glowflower as well. So certainly a lot to see in the mystic areas. We also have so that's actually, we looked at the blue hydrangea being too high, but that's obviously a natural spawn of it. And azure blue, pink daffodils, glowflowers, a lot of different flowers in this biome. Let's pop over to the end now. They're a weird noise. Magic leaves as well. Just want to see if just want to briefly look just to see if we can happen to see. Didn't think so, right? Oh, there is one here actually. That's a bit unfortunate. We've already made the portal. There you go. You can see the origin valley here. Very rarely will you go to the old school Minecraft biomes, but it's good that it is actually here. It's just very difficult to find them. And what about tropics? I am trying my best to find all the different biomes, but this one ain't that. Really, bro? Really, bro? Is the volcano biome in this? I wouldn't have thought so, but you never know, right? I think we're just at a point with some of these biomes that, because I know the Biomes Plenty does all the generation, not just in the overworld. Just looking at the biome here. It's taking a little bit of its time. My feelings we're not going to find. Yeah, maybe there just aren't many biomes. Maybe it was planned to do it a bit later on. I'm not seeing any biomes here that look unique though. And that's probably enough for testing. What we're going to try now then is we're going to go for a single biome. And we're going to just check. Let's check the tropics. I don't think there's too many that we need to check. I really think we've done a really pretty good job going through them all. But we would like to check out the tropics for sure. So anything else? Nothing really stands out to me. Rainbow Hills actually we didn't look at. I think Rainbow Hills then. Let's do Rainbow Hills and then we'll finish up the video on the tropics. Of course I forgot to do it. Well, we are in the Rainbow Hills. I guess we're seeing things in a slightly different way. That's always good to mix it up. A lot of stuff in Rainbow Hills though. I think probably it was an overload. I mean, there really is a lot of stuff in this biome. Yeah. It's almost like this is like a testing ground for new stuff. It's like it has like elements of Mystic Grove. It has elements of like a very dense amounts of flowers and stuff. Easy to navigate terrain. And there's just a bunch of different stuff. Not too much water though. We'll give it that. But yeah, huge amounts of flowers. I can see why it wasn't added in. It may be that they're just working on it. Peony. Lilac. No, I've done it wrong. Jesus Christ. Peony. Lilac. Let's just check one time. I'll never make that mistake again. And some of you, very few of you who ever got to watch that point will know why. But yeah. Is there something there? Not really. There's a lot of... wow, it really is a ridiculous range of stuff in this one. I can really see why it wasn't... Alright, so finally... And let's just check one last time. I really think we've seen literally every biome. I've tried to go through as much of... in the first hour of the video, I went through literally pretty much everything on my list of changes. So this should be a... do we have Volcano? Was Volcano the last one, or was there something else that I missed? Volcano and Tropics. And there's actually two. I feel like we're just going to do Volcano and Tropics. So penultimate one is Volcano. I knew with Biomes of Plenty, it was never a case of you'd be done in a little bit of time. You have to dedicate yourself to it. Are there actually any volcanoes? This does look like it is a nether biome though, from the looks of it, right? Almost certainly. So I may have just not found it in the nether. So there's a volcano. And finally, we have the tropics. Oh, I've gone too far. I do apologize, by the way, if some of the timing is slightly off. Normally with shorter videos, I'll re-render it, but with a video this length, I'm already running a bit late, so won't be able to re-render this one. So it may be slightly off in the timing. Hibiscus. Palm logs. This is where the white sand is, right? Don't think I ever did find a black sand, actually. You know what it was? I was hearing parrots before, wasn't I? I was hearing parrots. There's some hydrangeas. hibiscus, rose bush, palm logs, white sand, squid even, and random blocks in the sky. All right, I think we're done. We've got bamboo as well. Thanks for watching, guys.